life. But I have to use my imagination and put myself into the shoes of that person.
My question is for the director actually. It's pretty, it's not easy to get an actor like you to come and act in a short film like this. So how did you manage that? Because it's a great boost for young filmmakers. And how you said the script was very moving, so you agreed for it. So what was the interaction between when you met and how did you convince him?
Actually, like sir said, Shweta Basu Prasad, she's also acted in the film. She's the one who plays the young girl who leaves. She was also the co-producer on the film, and they have worked together on Iqbal before, and I had also worked with him previously on a documentary which I had directed. So one thing I knew about him is I have to get the script across to him. If he likes it, he'll do it. If he doesn't like it, he'll not do it no matter what. So I think the major challenge we faced was a pre-challenge of writing the perfect script that's possible. That took us a long time. We kept reworking on it, number of drafts. Like first we got the story straight, and when we were writing the screenplay, we've at least written like 15 to 16 drafts of this, I think. Then we finally sent it across to him, and he liked it. And then we were obviously fortunate that he agreed to do the film. And yeah, everything, I mean, it's a dream come true too. Like, I mean, he's any director's dream. So when I got to direct him, half the work became easy because his approach to a character itself is an overall storytelling approach. You know, it was not concerned only about his performance, but overall, when you see the story comes across well, it's because previously we had those rehearsal read-through nights where, like, you know, we figured out what would be the best way to now play it on, now that it works on script, how to translate it on screen. So it was really a great experience.
Were you nervous while directing him?
Not really on the direction day, you know. I mean, there was like a considerable gap of about 3 weeks since I knew that he is doing the film. So I got that much time to prepare and get over my nervousness maybe. I was a little apprehensive on the rehearsal day. So we met up on shoot day was not the first time we were meeting on the set. So, and then during the set, or like when you're directing, that time there are like hundreds of things to look into. So I was just caught up in managing those things, which now seems to be good that I didn't get nervousness. But I was also, it was while directing him, it was like I was concerned more about like how, in case he says a line differently than what I had imagined, how was I going to tell him. But it was so perfect, like because of the previous meeting that we had, and because we had imagined for so long, like, and we knew he's going to do it accordingly, certain lines had shaped up, and we'd imagined for really long how he's going to play it out on the screen. But still, when he played it out on the shoot day, we were surprised. And I have to admit, after that, when we went back and saw it in the edit table again, we were surprised yet again. It's like we realized that day, we saw it in front of us, how brilliant he is, and we'd always heard it before. So, yeah.
To answer your question further, I don't think he was nervous at all. I think nervousness is the result of not being properly prepared. And Adhiraj was extremely well prepared. And it was a great pleasure and joy working with him. I'm very, very impressed with what he has produced.
Director, you seem to be very young. How do you conceptualize this? Why? How did this come to you?
Yeah, actually that is a question we've been frequently asked, because something like this has obviously never happened to us. But I have, while conceptualizing the story, actually, it was an idea that hit upon us someday. I co-wrote it with Saini Raj. We both were conceptualizing because we wanted to make the short film, and then we actually spoke to a lot of our elders, like our parents and our uncles and people who had been during that time when there was no other mode of communication once you lose touch. Today, because of social media and because of Facebook and mail and everything is there, that you don't really lose touch that easily. Especially if you really wanted to be in touch, but during that time there was this problem. So when we spoke to all of them, like I remember my parents, a lot of other people who we spoke to, they all said that they have faced this at some point or the other. They've gotten transferred because of reasons that were beyond them, and so they lost touch with a number of friends, and they lost touch with people they really loved, or with people they were initially like regularly in touch with. So then we realized that this was common, in fact, and we thought, what if we tell a story of the same two people, and we take it on the day when they were meeting for the last time, and on the day when they've met again after many years. and we played out together how will it look. And when we started exploring the option on paper, it really turned out to be something that we were also being excited about telling, so we really wanted to tell the story then.
Mr. Shah was quite right in saying you were never nervous. That's what the paperwork you have done properly.
Question there.
Cost of production, actually, that was one of the things, one of the constraints that we faced anyway, because budget was constrained. I mean, for reasons beyond me, I can't disclose the exact amount, but yeah, we made it in a modest.
It was starvation budget.
Yeah, it was. Totally. But what we really did try is that that doesn't show on screen. Like when you see the film, we really wanted it to not look amateur, not look like that there were constraints in terms of budget or in terms of production values, so to say. So we went all out for that. We put the money, we tried at least putting the money in the right place where the storytelling doesn't get affected.
What is your perspective to when younger filmmakers, producers, or younger talent approaches a senior actor performer like you? What do you expect out of that? How do you approach it?
Well, first of all, I feel very happy that young filmmakers still have some use for an actor like me. And I have always subscribed to the belief that if you want to make a film very badly, you should not wait for the ideal opportunity. You should not wait for the perfect producer. You should not wait for a faultless script. You should not wait for any circumstances to be in your favor. If it matters so much to you, just get up and make it. And these days it's possible. You can even make a film on your telephone. So this is what I tell young filmmakers who come to me, that if it matters so much to you, just go out there and do it. Don't sit around and talk about it. And when I come across a project like this, of a bunch of youngsters, some of whom are children who I've seen grow up, people like Shweta, who was a child when I met her, I am very, very moved by their courage and by their the strength of their convictions. And I feel very happy and rejuvenated. Makes me feel younger when younger people want to work with me.
You haven't answered the most interesting part of his question. What do you expect out of this engagement with the young people, for yourself as well as from them?
I expect them to attempt to beat a new path. I am not in favor of a young man who comes to me and says, I want to make a regular pot boiler about a poor boy and a rich girl. I'm not interested in that kind of project, whether it is a huge budget or whether it is a young enthusiastic filmmaker. Because I would not like to encourage that kind of filmmaking. So what I expect from young people is that they are not conformist, they are not playing safe, and they are not resorting to the tried and tested formulae. They are people who are making films out of their conviction, and I have to say that the young filmmakers of today are, I think, much more evolved than the young filmmakers of the 70s, when I myself was a young man and we were trying to make films of this kind. I think the grasp of their grasp of the craft is much better, their understanding of life is much better, and their ability to get the effect they want is greater. There could be many reasons for this, but I think that the main reason is that it's a question of conviction. Of course, the presence of the camera has proliferated so much that perhaps speaking in the language of pictures is easier for the post-70s generation, because all those born towards the end of the last century and the beginning of this one are being photographed from the moment they're born. They're no longer terrified of the camera as we used to be when we were children. Which is also why I believe that there will be a quantum leap in the quality of acting in our films in the future, because being photographed is no longer such a big deal. That, however, depends on the quality of the writing which occurs. And it was mainly the quality of the writing in this film which inspired me to do it.
What opportunities do you see yourself in short films compared to feature films?
Sorry?
What opportunity do you see for yourself in short films compared to feature films?
It's not a question of opportunity, it's a question of being part of a project which you feel should be made. And whether that film makes any money or not, whether that film is a box office success or not, whether the critics like it or not, whether anybody sees it or not. For me, it's important to be a part of that job, to be involved in a job which is being done out of conviction and which is being done out of love.
Last question from the audience.
Be a little loud.
Is it really important to be from a theatre background to perform better in the feature films or short?
That's a difficult question. I can't answer that with a yes or a no. But the fact is that if you make a list of all the great film actors in the world, anywhere in the world, you'll find that 99.9% of them are from the theatre. Basically from the theatre. You will not find a great theatre actor who started in movies. Now, this does not prove that theatre acting is... Will you please put off that telephone? Oh, it's my phone. Right. So I've seen in a play where the chorus is talking to the audience about the play and his phone rings. So he looks at the audience and says, "Hey, please put off," just like I did. And then he realizes, oh, it's my phone. And so he says, oh, please remember. So what I was saying was, I forgot, what was I saying? Theatre and film, yeah. I don't think, as I said, that you will find a great theatre actor who started in cinema. So I think that theatre gives you more, working in the theatre, gives you more of a grasp of the craft. It makes you more aware of of how essential it is to have a control of your voice, a control of your body, a control of your face, a control of your emotions, etc. Whereas in cinema, a great performance can be created by the director. Sometimes even with an actor who has no experience, sometimes with a person who is not an actor, as in the case of Robert Bresson with a donkey. He can make a donkey appear interesting and expressive, and you can be actually deeply moved by that story. So it has nothing to do with the skill of the actor. Or if you see a film like Bicycle Thief or other of Godard's movies, it is, if those performances are effective, it is the doing of the director. It's not the actor's skill. Now, even for movies like that, I believe that the grounding in theatre would certainly be beneficial, because one is aware of the power of communication while working in the theatre, and one knows the technique of, how shall I put it, of communicating. And if you use the analogy of a live theatre audience, in the same way as a theatre actor has to be, while performing, in living touch with every single person present, the film actor has to be in touch with the camera, because the camera ultimately is the eye of every person in the audience. So in a general way, I would say the answer to your question is yes, that theatre grounding is certainly beneficial, though I would not say it is essential.
Adigan.
You had mentioned about the fear of an actor in front of the camera earlier. What was the greatest fear that you had in your formative years, and how did the director or the cinematographer help you overcome it, or if you had overcome it by your own self? The greatest fear that you had.
Okay, that's a very interesting question. I overcame it myself, because nobody can help you with these unreasonable fears. If you have a fear of the dark, or if you have a fear of spiders, or if you have a fear of snakes, I don't think anybody can help you overcome it. You have to find a way to overcome it yourself. Now when I was, as I told you, see, when I was a child, getting a photograph taken was a very big deal. My family had one Kodak Brownie camera, in which you, box camera, in which you looked into and you saw on a little viewfinder, you saw the image of the person you were photographing reversed. And a camera roll cost about 4 rupees, which was a fortune for a child in class 7 or class 8. Then